got my little Lily of the Valley order in, but it looks like my Haldon order came in. It's the first one of the year for me. I'm super excited about Haldon Garden right now. We have some sunflowers. If you're just starting out with your decorating and trying to incorporate gardening and then using that as your decorating, I would start with maybe sunflowers. And they are ready. Just, let's see. I've never tried these before. Pro Cut White Light is the one I'm trying. They seem to be ready about the end of August, at least where I live. And then you have these beautiful, really hardy bouquets that can go on the porch and can go on the coffee table and the dining room table. And then I also got, it's not in the correct envelope, that's funny, they just wrote on it chamomile. So I'm interested in chamomile, not just for tea. Chamomile and stevia tea is the bomb. But I have been seeing food presentation incorporating tiny little chamomile blossoms all over Pinterest. So I am inspired to grow my own and then put it maybe with sorbet or put it on, mix it in with, you know, the toppings with strawberry shortcake or something. And then I've never done this. Help me out, those of you who know about dahlias. I bought 2 packs of dahlias because if you remember, when my mother passed away last fall, I visited a dahlia farm, a local dahlia farm that was part of kind of my story, taking care of her for the last few years. I would always bring her bouquets of these flowers. Anyway, I thought afterwards, okay, there's 2 things I do when I lose someone in my life. I wear jewelry that was theirs, and I try to plant a flower that reminds me of them, so every year I'm reminded of them. And then every day I'm usually wearing I'm not wearing anything right now. Spoke too soon. But I try to wear a piece of jewelry that was from someone that I loved. It's my thing. So I bought dahlias. I'm gonna get into dahlias because those were part of my mother's story and her memorial service. So I have creme de cognac and café à latte. Oh gosh, why did I try to pronounce that in front of you? Anyway, I'm gonna get those planted. I am suddenly thinking, okay, where do you want dahlias? Because I think dahlias are kind of permanent. You need to think about this. So I'm trying to overcome my perfectionism right now and just pick a nice spot and not worry too much that I don't have the full plan for the garden beds because we want to redo them all. I'm being brave and gonna just find a nice spot. Do you guys do that where you know that you want it to be big and grand and you have lots of pins on Pinterest, but you can't quite do the next tiny step because you don't have the full picture? And I actually advise people to not do that. But with this, in this case, we're gonna just find a nice spot for the dahlias on the property and get started. I guess I can always pivot if I need to, right? My husband got a new mower for his tractor, and at first I was a little negative about the price, and then I had a mental shift and realized, oh, you know what? Actually, that means I will have a very nice looking yard because he'll be motivated to go out and try this new toy. Spent a significant amount of time yesterday going through Pinterest down and the Pinterest rabbit holes and measuring out my beds over there, and I think I'm gonna turn that whole area into a big flower farm. So I was up till 2 a.m. last night finalizing the designs in the living room, and I have a couple things left, well probably more than that, but a couple of more difficult things that I want to put on YouTube and I want to get your guys' advice on. I know I said that the next video was going to be the reveal of that room, but now I'm realizing no. There's about 9 different pockets in the room and there's so many decisions around those that I want to kind of hash out in front of the design community that there's going to be several videos. I woke up with the biggest puffy eyes. I looked in the mirror and I said, oh, it was all worth it. Like nothing I would rather do, almost nothing in my house I would rather do than decorate. And I find myself like not eating, not sleeping, just decorate, design. Okay, 2 things I want to share with you. As I'm working on these ideas for the flower gardens out in our garden areas, I'm realizing more and more that there's a lot of restraint in especially French gardens. There's hardly any color, maybe white, but there's just a tremendous amount of greenery going on. Very calculated, lots of boxwood borders and pathways, not very much color. So I am being really strict with my orders, and I have mostly white. Everything around my house is white or green. And then the flower gardens, I do dip into the warmer tones, so some rusty reddish orangey colors and some blush pinks, but not really yellows or blues or purples. So we'll see. I think that when you study English gardens, they get a little bit wilder, a little bit messier. You think of a lot of, well, lavender is seen in French gardens as well, but a lot of the more like overgrown cottages, that's very English, and maybe like wild roses and beds full of lavender and things. So I'm kind of trying to get my head around those looks and just get better as a landscaper, I guess you would say. So I did get an order in that I'm really excited about. I got these lily of the valley roots, and they're already, I mean, you can see they're already sprouting really well. But I have loved lily of the valley, oh gosh, since high school, probably when I was getting Victoria magazines. Do you remember Victoria magazines, 30 years ago? I mean, they're back in publication, but for a while they were out of publication. And I was always the odd girl in high school because I wanted to study those magazines. I've always been an old soul. Lily of the Valley. Now, I think if I did some research, I could be more intelligent on this topic, but I believe that they are the traditional bridal bouquet. So actually, if I had to choose one flower for a bridal bouquet, that's what it would be. It would just be a beautiful bunch of lily of the valley. So dreamy and classic. Okay, so now here's the new thing. I've had lily of the valley before. I've done cake decorating and done lily of the valley on cakes. I've had them in my flower beds, but this time I want them potted. So I need to pull up some of my vintage pots, and I want them in my house. I'm gonna try potted lily of the valley, maybe in my living room, maybe in my hallway by the big mirror. Okay, so I will be looking for pots. I will be sharing with you how that all works, because I just think that is completely dreamy. One of the people in my house cannot do pollen, so I might have to kick them out. Not the people, the flowers. Ooh, okay, this is a little bit, I suppose, boring. Oh, these aren't really that big. I bought new white towels. They're not as big. I might send these back. Okay, I'll decide if I'm gonna link these or not. But here's the deal. I have 1 towel per person in my household, and they're all hung on hooks. You've got to use hooks in your bathrooms, in my opinion, because you can get twice the mileage for storage reasons. You can get twice as many towels as opposed to bars. You want your towels on hooks, and I just have 1 per person. They're all white, and I just bleach them when it's time. And it's been working for about 6 years, but I noticed they're getting frayed around the edges, which is, there's nothing you can do at that point. They're just done. So that put me on this rampage with, do I want to totally change up the looks? Because I am going to be buying new towels. So is it time for me to do something totally new in that room? And while I do have a new direction in there, I ended up, after studying a bunch of towels and all my Pinterest boards with colors, I decided, I love that I can bleach them. And I don't love bleaching things. I mean, you could OxyClean or something, but I love how easy they are to maintain. And I've done the really, really expensive, ultra trendy Turkish towels before. I mean, I'm not even gonna tell you how much I spent on those towels. They did not last at all. They wrinkled, they didn't absorb when they were trying, you know, you're trying to dry off. They got like benzoyl peroxide on them from the kids' acne wash, and so now they had blotches, stains on them. I was so frustrated. These basic hotel white towels were the best. And so I'm just putting that piece of advice out there for you if you're doing bathroom designing or makeovers right now. Just a stack of white towels for your family is probably the best. Now, when I'm done my hair or I'm taking off makeup, I do have darker towels that I could use for that. But just nothing beats this classic white fluffy hotel towels. And I think that as much as I love trends and I talk about trends and I enjoy them to a point, I don't want to commit to something super trendy like tile. I'm huge, like don't get me started on tile. I do not think you should do trendy tile because you're gonna have to break it and take it out in 10 years. By 20 years, you're really gonna hate it. But the white fluffy towels, that is a classic in my mind. It's never gonna go out of style. It's super easy to go with bath, and I really feel like the bathroom that you get ready in, called your primary bathroom, that one needs to be really light colored because you need to be able to keep it really clean. You need to have really good lighting to see, you know, as you're getting ready. And so white towels are just a no-brainer in that situation. So that's my tip of the day for all the bathroom designers right now. Yeah, they are too small. Okay, so these ones that I bought, well, Photobomb. These ones that I bought years ago when I initially started this experiment with the white towels, I got these at TJ Maxx. I think they were $7 each, which is great. I mean, price that out over 6 years. But look at the difference in size. Maybe I'll go back to TJ Maxx. These other ones were from Amazon. That much wider. They're way thicker. Dang it. Oh yeah, and longer. They're just a bigger towel. Okay, I'm not committing to 6 years with these ones. I can do better. But yeah, Vera Wang. Maybe I'll track down some more Vera Wang towels. Okay, that's it for this week's video. I have so much going on this week with the living room and the garden. So I will be vlogging all of that, and I will be getting that up on the channel very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you in a few more days.